guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neha and you're watching IMI Australia. Today's video is really exciting because in today's video I'm going to react to one of my old videos. This video is the most popular video on my channel and has about 75,000 views. The video I'm talking about is things I dislike about living in Australia. This video was made, I think, in 2020. It's 2023, so it's about time that we revisit the video together and see if my opinions have changed or not. Because now that I've lived in Australia for 4 years, things have certainly changed. So let's visit the video together. I have on purpose wore the same outfit. So without further ado, let's get started with today's video. Talking about a few things which I don't like about Australia. I'm not going to use the word hate because that's a very strong feeling. I'll just tell you about few things which I dislike.
So again, not using the word hate because it's a very strong feeling. These are just a few things that I dislike about living in Australia. I'm still very grateful about living in Australia and the opportunities it has provided me and my family. So don't come after me with a lot of hate because I had to turn off the comments for this last video. I hope for this video that I'm going to post, I don't have to turn off the comments because clearly I don't hate anything. It's just my opinion that I dislike a few things about living in Australia. Let's continue.
About Australia weather. So I am from India and it's a tropical country. 3 distinct seasons, summer, monsoon, winter. यहाँ आके एक दिन में बारिश, धूप और ठंड तीनों देखना पड़ा. Melbourne में it doesn't snow, at least where I am living it doesn't snow over there, but the winters are windy, it's wet, it's dark, it's gloomy, sun sets at 5 to 5:30 p.m.
So the first one is weather. Yes, weather in Melbourne, and I'm not talking about the entire Australia. I'm talking about Melbourne because I live in Melbourne. It's been 4 years I've been living in Melbourne. The weather is quite extreme. On any particular day, you can witness summer, winter, and rain all at once. So in the morning, it would be very hot, very humid. It would rain in the afternoon, and I think the temperatures would drop to about 10 to 15 degrees during the night. So you would need a jacket. So that's how weather is. Winters are miserable. It rains a lot during winters, and the sun sets at about, I would say, 4:30 to between 4:30 and 5. So it gets dark really soon, and so going out is not an option. You do not get enough sunlight. Yeah, the weather in Melbourne is just extreme. I'm thankful that it doesn't snow, but it rains a lot during winters, which makes it miserable. And coming from a country where, as I said, there are 3 distinct seasons, it is difficult to cope up. I am used to it now. I could say I've started getting used to it, but not fully. So this is something I still dislike about living in Melbourne, I should say, not Australia in particular. Let's continue.
Shock you. It's internet. Now you must be thinking कि Australia तो developed country है, वहाँ internet fast होगा, cheap होगा, but pause. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Internet is a big problem over here. First of all, it's very expensive, and second, there are a lot of connectivity issues.
So, internet, it is still the same. In fact, I would say I have discovered a lot more problems with internet in the past 3 years. As I said, it is expensive. There's no doubt about it. And although in metropolitan areas, because everybody started working from home because of the COVID restrictions and lockdowns, the broadband improved. Even now, if you go to regional remote areas, the internet connectivity and just the network, like normal mobile connectivity, is very, very weak. It's not good at all. I find it difficult sometimes to even make normal phone calls in regional remote areas, let alone. So I can't even imagine using internet over there. So it is still the same. I would say it has improved in metropolitan areas, but not everywhere. So it is still expensive. Connectivity is still a problem. Let's look at the next one. So yes, my opinion has not changed. It has even worsened, I would say.
job search, and I'm sure a lot of you might have guessed कि ये तो आने ही वाला था looking at my previous videos. There are a lot of reasons because of which I dislike the job search process here in Australia. Let's talk about them. सबसे पहला रीजन ये है कि जब आप यहाँ आते हो आपके पास ऑस्ट्रेलियन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ कोर्स नहीं होता है एंड आप compete करते हो उन लोगों के साथ जिनके पास years of ऑस्ट्रेलियन एक्सपीरियंस है. जो एम्प्लॉयर होता है वो प्रेफर उनको करते हैं जिनके पास ऑस्ट्रेलियन एक्सपीरियंस है. दूसरा रीजन ये है कि यहाँ पे जॉब मिलने का सबसे आसान तरीका है अगर कोई आपको रेफरल दे. अब आप कंट्री में न्यू हो, आपके दोस्त नहीं है, रिश्तेदार नहीं, आप किसी को नहीं जानते हो, तो रेफरल मिलना मुश्किल हो जाता है. अब बारी आती है ड्राइविंग की.
All right, let's talk about job first. So it's the same. The only thing that has changed is that now I have found like tricks and tips that can help anyone who's new to Australia to get a job quickly. So without an Australian experience, getting a job here is still difficult, but then I did my research, I have my own experience, and if you follow those steps, it is easy to get a job without an Australian experience or with least amount of Australian experience. But yes, without a referral, it is still difficult to get a job in Australia. And I've made so many videos on it, how to get a job, how to prepare your CV, how to prepare for interviews in Australia, what are some of the high demand jobs in Australia, some of the high demand certifications in Australia. Make sure you go through that playlist. I will add a link up here. Make sure you check that out if you're planning to move to Australia. But this has not changed. It's more or less the same. The job search process is quite intimidating in Australia. So let me help you out with it. Yeah, make sure you watch my videos. Let's go to the next one.
Yes, driving. So back in India, point-to-point connectivity was not an issue. रिक्शा वाले भैया या ऑटो वाले भैया हमेशा मिल जाते थे. बट यहाँ ऐसा नहीं है. Although the public transport system is very efficient and very good, मगर point-to-point connectivity नहीं है. तो अगर
Again, very, very true. If you don't know driving, life in Australia can be very, very difficult because trams, trains, buses do not operate as frequently you would like. They are frequent, they are good. And the number of trams or trains you will find in suburban areas are less as compared to the main CBD. So if you want to travel to the Australian outback, you would need a four-wheeler. There is no other way to say that. You would need a car that can take you through those regional remote areas because they're not very well serviced by public transport. Now, also, if you live in suburbs, you live closer to the city, it is still difficult because trams and trains do not run everywhere. I mean, as I said, there's no point-to-point connectivity. So I don't know how to drive. I'm learning how to drive, and it's very difficult because if I have to go somewhere, I'm dependent on my husband for it. So it is always advised to have a four-wheeler here and also to learn how to drive. And getting a driving license is also a very tedious process. I hope I get it soon because I am learning how to drive. But you have to pass the test, which is a written test, and then a practical driving test. You have to follow the rules to the T because even if you are driving at 42 in a 40 zone, you will fail in the exams. You have to be very careful. There's so many things. So yeah, if you don't know driving, life in Australia is difficult. Let's just say that.
अगर आपको फोर व्हीलर ड्राइव करना पड़ेगा एंड ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस मिलना यहाँ आसान नहीं है. You have to follow all the rules, you have to pass the test, written test, then driving test. बहुत कुछ है. तब आपको आपका लाइसेंस मिलता है एंड यहाँ पे रूल्स आपको ओबे करना ही है. There is no other option. The next one is English. Yes. So most of us might be proficient in speaking, reading, writing English, but जब बात आती है आपस में बात करने की, it's very different here in Australia. तो जो Aussie lingo है वो काफी different है उस English से जो हम इंडिया में यूज करते हैं. ये मुझे तब रियलाइज हुआ जब मैंने अपने जॉब को ज्वाइन किया और and this is
so now why a mate? नहीं समझ आया ना. I just said, how are you, mate? So there's that slight Aussie lingo that was difficult for me to understand and catch at the beginning. But as time passed, I learned it all. did so many things to learn it. Now, 4 years down the line, I am really comfortable with talking to anyone here in Australia. I did make a video on how to learn Australian English. If you're moving to Australia, I will add a link up here. Make sure you watch that one. But basically, what I did was I watched a lot of Aussie shows, TV shows that were not just normal soaps or dramas, but like general knowledge based shows and house renovation shows. And that helped me to understand the lingo. Sometimes even my experience helped me because I was talking to so many people while I was working or while I was traveling, while I was just generally living in Australia. That helped me build that confidence. And the third thing is always ask when you don't understand. So even at my workplace, if I did not get anything, I would just ask. English is not my first language, and I'm not expected to know everything. So just be brave enough, vulnerable enough to ask if you don't understand anything. But yeah, this is something I dislike personally about living in Australia. Let's move to the last one.
Very personal, not linked to the country at all, is the culture. I'm not saying कि मुझे Australian culture पसंद नहीं है, but I do miss my Indian culture. वो जो सड़कों पर जो भीड़ होती.
So there's no doubt about it. This is not something I dislike about Australia, as I said in the video. This is something I just dislike in general. I miss my Indian culture. I miss our festivals. Diwali is not anymore a 15 or a month affair. It's like a half day thing. You do your puja, you eat, and it's done. You go to the office next day. It's like it never happened. I miss those things, but that's the price I have to pay to move to Australia. So don't come after me that it was your decision to go to Australia and so you have to suffer. I know it is my decision and I'm not complaining about it. It's just a few things that it's about striking that balance. There's something that you have to give up to in order to get a few other things or benefits in life. So I am, I still miss my Indian culture. There are things that you can do here to enjoy your culture as well. There are temples, there are festivals, there are events that happen. But wo India wali baat to nahi hai yaar. Let's just accept it. So yeah, those were my opinions about all the things. And I think most of my opinions have not changed 3 years later. I would say I have only added a few more things to this list, which is there are a few more things that I dislike about living in Australia, such as how difficult it is to travel in the regional remote areas, or how difficult it is to just understand the finances in Australia, or how different are the prices of items in different supermarkets and there's no MRP, things like that. Maybe I'll make a part 2 of things I dislike about living in Australia. What do you say? Do you want to watch that video? If yes, let me know in the comments section. If you like this video, give it a big fat thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel. I made a video also on things I like about Australia. Maybe it's time I should react to that too. So if you want to watch that one, please subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. Stay safe and I will see you in my next video. Bye!